after that introduction, I should probably go while the going's good, actually. Okay. It's truly a pleasure to be here tonight and to be in such esteemed company. I'd like to thank Patricia and Neil for inviting me, but I'd also like to commend them for holding an event like this and recognizing the contributions of people who dedicated their lives to improving the lives of others. So as you say, a lot of the time this is for business people and that, so it's wonderful to actually see people who are involved in healthcare actually getting recognition for what they're doing. Clearly, as you've heard, the collective accomplishments of the individuals here tonight are truly tremendous. The most impressive, not that I mean to belittle any of the rest of you clearly, is having Dr. James Watson here, who discovered really the building block of life, DNA. This finding clearly, as all of you are more than aware, has led to basically change science, change biology, has led to innumerable discoveries since, so changed the course of science. Also, as mentioned here tonight, Orla Staunton, who, as you've heard also, who lost her beautiful son, Rory, and their family, and in the face of such immense tragedy, turned it into something positive for other people's families, and just an overwhelming contribution, something that's very hard to do after such a really terrible tragedy. I know ourselves in Mount Sinai, we have been involved in making major changes and have seen the impact. We have the head of our sepsis program here tonight, Dr. Beth Rauscher, and we have seen the impact of the implementation of the policies that you've brought to bear. We're also honouring leaders of two of the largest healthcare systems who are not here tonight, Toby Cosgrove and Michael Dowling. But amongst the rest of you, we've got innovators in genomics, cancer, transplant, drug discovery, technology, biotechnology, and informatics, and also those who've dedicated their lives to improving the lives of others who are less fortunate, and also those who, at a time when others would not take care of individuals suffering from HIV, stepped forward and fought for care for those individuals. So I'd like to congratulate all of you and commend you for your work. The other week, with my husband and some friends of ours, we had the opportunity of going to see Glenn Hansard in Carnegie Hall. Not all of you might know who he is. You might know him as Outspan from The Commitments, or the musician from the movie Once. And it was a tremendous evening where he clearly was delighted to be in Carnegie Hall, and thought he might never get there again. And the show was so long, I think he might not get there again. And he honoured everybody that was involved in getting to him to where he was, including his secondary teacher, or as you call a high school teacher, included him to leave school and go and pursue his dreams. And it struck me here tonight that it's not very often in the medical profession that we get a chance to thank the individuals who have helped us along the way. And clearly all of us have benefited from mentorship of individuals. So it's on occasions like this that you might be thinking of those people. It's also on this sort of occasion that you might actually think about the people who didn't necessarily help you, and kind of with a little wry smile. But they also have been motivations too, and it's occasions like this that I remember with amusement my elementary teacher who told my mother that I was a dunce and that I would never be anything. And what's more, she shouldn't even try. I was 4, and it was Miss Wilson, the teacher, told. So I like that one. So fortunately, my parents persevered. Clearly, our Irish heritage is important to us, and many of you in your commentaries commented on how their Irish heritage was important to their success and how it was a driving force in your lives. We Irish are known for our determination, our strength of character, our persistence, or less politely put, our stubbornness. But all of these characteristics have helped us in time of adversity. They're clearly characteristics that contributed to the resilience of many of your forebearers on their journey to America. But we're also known for our humour, not taking ourselves too seriously, and the importance, as the nuns put it, of not having notions about ourselves. So, as a physician, I'm incredibly proud of my Irish heritage and how it shaped my perspective. I'm extremely grateful for the outstanding education I received in Ireland and the values that were instilled in me by my teachers. I went to the Royal College of Surgeons, as you heard. We were taught the importance of connecting with and having empathy for our patients. Scholarship alone wasn't enough. And an example of this was if we had a patient with rheumatoid, you might remember these examples. If we had a patient with rheumatoid arthritis and we shook their hands and they winced, it didn't matter how much we knew about the disease or how to treat it or whatever, we'd failed our exam because we hadn't taken the patient's overall well-being into consideration. So, I clearly, obviously, as I moved over to America, my Irish education was profoundly supplemented by a really rigorous academic experience, and I'm really fortunate to have experienced both systems. Without doubt, it's made me a better doctor. It's been commented here this evening that we are at the point of what I think are exponential changes in healthcare, and many of the people in this room are helping to drive those changes. In 2010, Institute of Medicine reported on their vision for a new taxonomy of disease, where instead of classifying diseases by site, organ, or pathology, rather we define diseases based on molecular pathways. And we're moving forward with this, and already within oncology we're making these changes, so a major, major change in the future. Technology is playing a greater role, breaking down the disconnect between the doctor's office and the home, tracking patients' activities, changes in their environment, their vital signs, labs, etc., and providing a more complete picture of how all of these factors impact a patient's lives. Technology is also helping us to look at patients in different ways, using data to identify individuals or groups of individuals who are more at risk for a disease or who might benefit from a different therapy or a different approach to their therapy. Genetics and genomics are providing us the opportunity to identify those at risk of disease before they develop the disease, or once they have the disease, to follow them in a more precise way as opposed to examination or gross histology or radiology. No, apologies for the radiology comment. So the possibilities are truly outstanding, and the sheer amount of data that has been generated means that the expertise needed to interpret the data will require greater technologies and really significant expertise and specialists to help us interpret that data. Patient care will increasingly be driven by protocols and by decision support tools, guided and informed by technology. But we can't let the technology depersonalize us. We already have created a situation where physicians are spending more and more time on computers rather than interacting with our patients. As a result, a recent report has shown that more and more doctors are avoiding going into clinic and going towards administration, and there are a record number of doctors retiring at an early age this year, or relatively early age. 10 years ago, my cousin, who lives in California and has a PhD in artificial intelligence, informed me nicely that I could be replaced by a computer and an actor. I thought he was crazy at the time, but maybe he isn't. And as someone who's been on both sides of the exam table, I know that the time that a doctor interacts with a patient can't be underestimated. Understanding what a patient is saying or not saying, understanding the challenges that each individual is dealing with, and being able to empathize with them and understand that sometimes the recommended therapy just isn't going to work for your patient is the cornerstone of being an outstanding physician. The advances occurring in medicine are fantastic, and I have absolutely no doubt we'll be the better for them. But we Irish, as leaders in the field who come from a tradition of loving the story, the chat, and connecting with people, need to ensure that as we drive these advances, we remember the importance of the personal interaction between the patient and the physician. We can be listeners, but we can also be innovators who develop tools and systems to help manage the data and facilitate the interaction. You cannot underestimate the importance of a patient's trust in their doctor to help them calm their fears and contribute to their overall well-being. We as leaders need to ensure that with increasing integration of technology in our hospitals and clinics, that we never forget our patients and their stories. We need to make sure that as we move forward, we remember the best of both worlds. Thank you.